Welcome to Noon Wednesday. I'm Marissa Wojcik, multimedia journalist with Here and Now on PBS Wisconsin. Today is March 10. The U.S. House of Representatives is on the precipice of voting on the Senate's version of an historic $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package. Debating on the bill as we speak, and it is expected to pass the democratically controlled House and be signed by President Joe Biden. Among provisions in this massive legislation are measures that Democrats are saying will alleviate child poverty by up to 50%. So here to discuss what these parts of the bill will look like and what it could mean for children in Wisconsin is Tim Smeating, UW-Madison Professor of Public Affairs and Economics, and also the former director of the Institute for Research on Poverty, as well as Tamarine Cornelius, research analyst at Kids Forward, a nonprofit focused on children and families in Wisconsin. And I want to thank you both so much for being here today. Tim, I want to start with you. Why is it important specifically to measure child poverty?
It's important because we know now for a fact that poverty hurts kids, all else equal. Whether it's one parent or two parents, they live in Madison or Milwaukee, in a good neighborhood, a bad neighborhood, a single parent family, two parent families, or with their grandparents, we know that child poverty reduces child opportunities. It affects kids from birth onward. Their brains develop differently. They're less likely to go to school, less likely to complete school. Living in stress, the stress created by poverty in the family has a big negative effect on kids. And kids are our future, our resource. And so it's important to know how they're being raised and if they're, in bad straits, because that doesn't bear well. If we reduce child poverty, kids are much more likely to develop and finish school, be responsible adults, and so forth. So, it's just something that's really important to know.
And Tamarine, your organization works with many groups that directly serve children, and you get a lay of the land. Can you tell us what you understand child poverty and families looks like in Wisconsin?
Anytime you can raise a child out of poverty, there's a whole slew of positive effects that come out of that. Those kids do better in school. They're more likely to go to college. They reduce their drug and alcohol use. They earn more money later in life. And so any investment in that really pays off many times over down the road. And in Wisconsin, children live in poverty all across Wisconsin. And two of the areas where kids are especially likely to live in poverty are because of unequal opportunities in employment and inequities in things like education and housing. Black and Latino families have a harder time making ends meet. And also there's a big rural poverty issue in Wisconsin where people live in areas where jobs just don't pay as much. And it's tough for those families to make ends meet as well and provide the basic needs for their families. And to talk about what poverty is, to lay that out, the official poverty measure, which has its own set of issues, but that is for a family of four, about $25,000, $26,000. So think about trying to raise your family of four on that amount of money. It's very difficult.
And Tim, you've done a lot of research in this area, and it affects different geographical areas, as Tamarine alluded to. Can you describe what those different geographical challenges look like in Wisconsin's landscape?
Well, Wisconsin, I've been doing the Wisconsin Poverty Report for 10 years since I became director of IRP, and it was first for a task force that former Governor Doyle began. And we've been monitoring the situation. And poverty is always bad in inner city Milwaukee. In fact, within Milwaukee County, the differences between poverty for children within Milwaukee County is greater than the differences across any counties. So if you live in Cedarburg, Brown Deer, Whitefish Bay, the poverty rate for kids is 3 and 4%. If you live in the Ponier areas of Waukesha, it's 3 and 4%. If you live in North Central or Southern Central City, the poverty rates for kids are 30 and 35%. And that's after we take account of the earned income tax credit, after we take account of housing subsidies, and after we take account of food share. So there's huge disparities. It's linked somewhat to prisons, it's linked to low wages, it's linked to lack of job opportunities. And this all creates stress and pressure on families who are raising kids, and it gets reflected in their kids. And so if you want kids to have a better chance, as Tamarine mentioned, if you want to avoid the costs down the road, which are 8 times higher than the investment costs that we make now, you need to invest in kids. You need to help kids grow up to be happy, healthy, and safe. And that's what the refundable child tax credit in the current bill does.
Now, do you have any understanding of how COVID-19 has potentially exacerbated this issue, Tim? I know that your most recent report is from 2018 and 2019 numbers, but do we have an understanding of how this last year plus has impacted things?
We do know a few things. We know, and you can guess from what we've seen before pretty easily. We know that women in particular have been hurt because of lack of childcare. Low-wage service jobs, which are particularly affect minorities, have gone. Restaurant jobs, tourist jobs, hotel jobs, cleaning jobs. All those services are the ones that are hurt the most. And so those families are really in trouble. They're worried about paying their rents. Over a quarter of the evictions for those who can't pay rent in this country are for $500 a month or less. Okay. It's hard to make ends meet. We see the lines at the food banks, and we see that the food share is up 22%. So those particular families who were hurting before are most likely to be hurting now. They don't work online like we do. They don't get regular paychecks like we do. They need help. They need stability, economic stability in their families, and hopefully these new benefits will deliver them to them.
And this next question is for both of you. Is the current social safety net working the way it should to counter poverty in the state? And Tamarine, we'll start with you.
I think that there's 2 answers to that, and one is that it helps. So, you know, the way our work supports are set up, they are both very important to people who are trying to make ends meet, and the other half of that is not nearly enough and not nearly effective. So we, you know, things like unemployment benefits and food assistance and you know, other types of helping families in need are critical for people surviving this period and don't really nearly cover what they need to. And especially as we look back at what our history with these programs has been over the past several years, you know, especially in Wisconsin, we've had a history of sort of setting up administrative roadblocks to access many of these programs and other ways of discouraging participation. And now that we have this crushing need for these programs, those barriers are preventing people from accessing what they need. So I think it is both you know, extremely important in our current status. And I think this is an opportunity for us to take a look at what is actually going to help families and really take a big step in improving these supports that help people get back up on their feet when they need a boost.
Tim, same question to you. Are the current social safety nets in the state working?
They're working, but I agree with a lot of what Tamarine said. But for instance, SNAP benefits have now been increased by 15%, and when President Biden signs it tomorrow, till the end of the year. There's extra money in SNAP for kids who are missing school breakfasts and school lunches, okay? finding a way for them to get access to those benefits more easily, which we did during the Great Recession, before Governor Walker came into office, really helped. So helping people know what they can get and get it. Another thing, okay, our National Academy of Sciences report showed that across the whole nation, about 20% of poor kids are children born in the United States who have Social Security numbers and who are U.S. citizens, but are born to foreign-born parents. And those parents were afraid, have been afraid of taking those benefits because of public charge and because of other restrictions and threats that they received. They should be told that they're eligible for these benefits. But we have about 100,000 families in this state who still haven't received their first CARES payments from March because the IRS couldn't find them, because they moved and no one forwarded their mail and so forth. So an effort to help people find and get and begin receiving the benefits that they're eligible for is important. The unemployment insurance route is not the way to go. Our unemployment system is pretty badly broken. Until we get it tuned up, until we fix it up, that's fine. But a lot of the families who are eligible or who've been working part-time or scraping along are eligible for the child tax credit. They're ineligible for unemployment insurance in Wisconsin. So there's a big role for nonprofits to reach out, get their communities, tell them what they're eligible for, and help them start to receive the benefits to which they're entitled. That's the best thing to do. I mean, other things are important too. Raising the minimum wage above $7.25, great. You don't have to go to $15, but come on. You think the legislature could talk about $10.50 an hour, which is what the governor has proposed, $10.50 an hour? Whereas we have Minneapolis and most of Minnesota going to 15 and Illinois on its way to $15 an hour step by step over the next few years. So raising wages would be helpful. There's a bunch of other things, but the implementation of these child tax credits, getting the monthly benefits set up is going to be really important. And you're going to need lots of help to do that for families who are eligible and may not be able to do the interface with the IRS website that they're planning. I personally have pushed, and the National Academy of Sciences recommended that the Social Security Administration be involved in these situations, dealing with grandparents raising kids, kids where families are under court order, to find out who's really taking care of the kids and making sure that they're the people who are receiving these benefits. And that's going to be important because the child tax credit is only for 1 year. Now, we have a year to show how it works. And so we need to get the people who need help enrolled, get the money going to them, and so on. And it isn't just the child tax credit. Let me just finish by saying every kid is going to be eligible for $1,400 emergency income payment too. There's expanded tax credits for childcare and expanded slots through DCF for childcare, both in this bill. So helping people access those so they can work and manage their families, get good childcare, and have that stable base of income is all important. And that's the challenge in front of us in Wisconsin over the next year. And again, these are all federal benefits. This is federal benefit. A lot of them are administered by the states. So we don't need, the governor just needs to figure out, and the legislature needs to figure out how to spend the money, where to spend the money, and then we have to help people get them.
And Tamarine, I want to expand on what Tim was describing. So in this federal $1.9 trillion relief package, what is being proposed for child benefits? Is it an extension of the current child tax credit? It's also being called child social security. It's being called a guaranteed income. How would you describe what is in this legislation and what stands out to you as being beneficial?
So there's actually a whole bunch of things in this legislation, and we've mostly just touched on the child tax credit, but there are several provisions which viewed broadly would make a big difference in the lives of children and families. So things like extending the unemployment benefits and the increase in weekly unemployment benefits. That's in here. There's also the federal government is going to make it easier to access health insurance during a pandemic, which is really important because we're in the middle of a health crisis. And there's the child tax credit, which we've been talking about. And there's also a credit for workers without who aren't raising kids at home. And then there's also other aid like food assistance and eviction assistance. So, overall, this whole package, although, child might be only in the title of one of the components, is really going to have a huge beneficial impact on family functioning and family well-being, even if the benefits don't directly flow to the child, right? Because things like parents being able to access unemployment benefits to put food on the table, that is also really important for children, even though it isn't specifically directed at children. So the child tax credit is an expansion of a credit that's already in place. There's a couple differences. It changes it modifies it so that families who don't make very much money or make no money can get the tax credit. It increases the amount of the tax credit. It includes 17-year-olds who were not included before. And it also implements this delivery mechanism that Tim was talking about, where people can get it sent to them monthly for the rest of the year, or for the second half of the year. So you don't have to wait and get it all when you file your taxes, because that is not going to be as helpful for people who need it right now, right? You need it to pay your rent right now and not next April when you file your taxes. So that way of delivering it is also new. So those are several changes that all taken together are going to make a big positive impact on the lives of families. And then that itself is in this bigger context of aid that is going to help families in general that are struggling, like unemployment benefits and expanded subsidies for health insurance.
Now, I was listening to the House floor debate, and Democrats and Republicans were vying back and forth, and Democrats were repeating the figure that this is going to cut child poverty by 50%. Tim, do you agree with that figure?
Yeah, well, first there is a similar package. My National Academy of Sciences Committee estimated the same effects in the similar package, but this package, in fact, it isn't even as complete. The Center on Poverty and Policy at Columbia, one of my co-authors, Chris Weimer, and his colleagues made this estimate. And if you just look at the child tax credit alone, that may be 40%. It's 50% for minorities, by the way, for sure. But then you add the $1,400 per kid emergency payment. You add the extra SNAP benefits that are coming. You add the other forms of assistance, and yes, we're going to have child poverty. Our child poverty rate will be somewhere near Canada's and near European levels if we do this and we do it right. Just as Cameron said, there are all these different pieces in excuse me, at the end of the day, we have to figure out how to deliver them, how to get them to people. And that's going to be a big task that nonprofits can help with, but where the state and its offices are going to have to do their best to work with families and work with groups, work with IRS or whoever is charged finally with delivering these monthly benefits and get them qualified.
Republicans were saying over and over that this is going to exacerbate the entitlement programs and people's reliance on welfare, and that people are going to stop going to work because they're going to be getting money that they would normally be earning at a job. Tim, do you agree with that sentiment?
This is not at all what we find or what the Canadians have found or others. Now, unlike if you earn an extra dollar right now and you're living in public housing or you're receiving SNAP benefits, they're going to reduce your SNAP benefits. you're going to reduce, you're going to increase the rent that you pay. So there'll be 2 income reductions in addition to taxes. The child tax credit doesn't work that way. There's no clawback. The child tax credit doesn't count against any other program. Now, by itself, it's not high enough to get you out of poverty. It's maybe a quarter of the poverty line, but it does mean that you have stable, constant income every month. It means you can make plans. It means that you can have some money for childcare on your own. It means that you can pay your rent. It means that you won't get evicted. It means that you can pay for some after-school things for your kids. It means that you get a good internet connection so your kids are better able to learn online or, do their homework after kids are back in school. All the National Academy of Sciences estimates that we did are that there would be a tiny reduction in the number of people who work for the child tax credit, but that would be far outweighed by the extra child care subsidies that they're getting and by the earned income tax credit and other portions of this bill. So I expect people will actually work more once jobs come back and once childcare comes back. Those are 2 big ifs. Those have to do with health conditions, not with the bill.
Tim mentioned that this is going to have an even greater alleviation of child poverty for Black families and families of color. In Wisconsin, Racine and Milwaukee have the highest rates of poverty, according to Tim's most recent study. So do you think that this credit and what's in this bill is going to have the most positive impact for those that are most impacted, where Milwaukee and Racine have very high populations of Black families?
Well, this is going to be a really broad-based benefit that helps most children in Wisconsin. So everybody is going to see a lift from this. It will be especially important to families with low incomes who are struggling to make ends meet. And in Wisconsin, many of our families of color are disproportionately low income. We have generations of employment discrimination and unequal education and housing and other factors that make it more likely that those families earn lower wages. And so this will be a step towards helping those families, but it also is going to help, hundreds of thousands of other families across Wisconsin. So it's targeted, but it also is going to be a really, it will be especially important to families of color, but it is still going to be helping families in really every corner of Wisconsin.
Exactly. Totally agree with that. It's going to help everybody. It's going to help the working poor. It's going to help families make ends meet. It's going to help people I hired at the Institute for Research in Poverty. One particular person, I won't say the name, who makes $40,000 a year and has 4 children. His spouse volunteers at church and does church-related things. And I did a webinar with him, and he actually said, this is going to be amazingly important for me. This is a really hardworking guy, built his own house and so forth. The New York Times did a story about a woman, an African-American woman in Milwaukee named Erica Hunt. She was working at at Taco Bell and another place. She was $300 short every month in meeting her budget. So she was driving a car without a license and worried about repaying her loan. And the New York Times said, well, we should raise the minimum wage to $15 for her. Well, if she kept her hours, that would just get her to $300. What she is going to get from this legislation is about an extra $800 a month for her kids over and above what she's getting now. She won't have to work the extra shift. She can try and work the day shifts. She can plan on doing things for her kid every month. She can save this money. She can put it away. It's not going to go away until her income hits $75,000 a year. So that's a huge effect on the working poor in particular, and on families who can't afford everything that they want for their kids or that their kids need. So this is revolutionary, absolutely revolutionary. And hopefully the challenge now is to make it work well enough by the end of the year to convince everybody but it should be permanent. That's the challenge, and that's why people like Tamarine and her groups and me and my people have to do our best to make sure that we get this benefit out and we can start to show how it's affecting family life and affordability of kids.
Tamarine, you were going to respond to that?
I was going to build on what Tim said by saying this is the child tax credit part and most of the other parts of the COVID relief bill are temporary. The child tax credit part is 1 year. And so we will have to ask ourselves when this is done, if it had the tremendous impact that we're anticipating on helping families function, they can repair their car to get to work, put more groceries in the cabinets, catch up on the utilities bills. And then at the end of the year, we choose not, we were able to make this historic reduction in child poverty. And at this point, we're not planning on doing it next year. So I think that will be a point which we have to ask ourselves, if we're not going to do that, why we aren't going to make those investments in our kids in the future.
Very robust discussion. I want to thank you both so much for joining today. Tamarine Cornelius and Tim Smeeding, thank you.
Thank you, Marissa.
Thanks.
For more from Here and Now and PBS Wisconsin, you can visit pbswisconsin.org. And thank you so much for joining us on Noon Wednesday.